Transfers in football aren't always sunshine and rainbows for the players and clubs involved. Sometimes it works out and the player goes on to achieve success, and then there's times where the player or club wish the transfer had never happened. Sit back and let's have a look at some of the transfers that didn't work out and ruined a player's career. Andriy Shevchenko, £30.8 million. One of the most sought-out strikers in the early 2000s, every club was ready to break the bank for the prolific Ukrainian goalscorer. At AC Milan, Shevchenko was a legendary figure, renowned for his exceptional goal-scoring ability, technical skills and consistency. Shevchenko scored 175 goals, surpassing the 25-goal mark in 6 seasons for Milan and even won the Ballon d'Or in 2004. Naturally, a floodgate of offers came in for the Ukrainian as many top clubs were interested in him. Ultimately, it was Chelsea who secured his services in 2006 for a then British record fee of £30.8 million. But it didn't go as expected. Shevchenko struggled to adapt to the Premier League and the tactical demands of manager Jose Mourinho. His goal scoring suffered drastically, leading to a dramatic decline in his confidence and on-field impact. With 23 goals in 77 games, Shevchenko still managed to net roughly once every 3 games, but it wasn't what was expected of a player of his calibre, and ultimately Didier Drogba was preferred by Mourinho. He was loaned back to Milan 2 years later, before leaving permanently for Dynamo Kiev for free in 2009, where he ended his career. Fernando Torres, £50 million. Next on the list is another Chelsea signing who couldn't live up to the expectations. Fernando Torres was a roaring success at Liverpool, netting 69 Premier League goals in his 3.5 seasons there. So when Chelsea bought the Spaniard for a then British record fee of £50 million, it looked like an incredible piece of business for Chelsea, stealing one of the Premier League's most lethal strikers on deadline day. But for whatever reason, Torres' ill-fated spell with the Blues never reached the heights he had achieved at Anfield. It took him nearly 1,000 minutes to net his first Chelsea goal. Talk about a slow start. Well, 45 goals and 35 assists in 175 appearances isn't awful, but Torres became a shadow of the world-class striker he was at Liverpool, and his time at Chelsea is remembered more for iconic misses rather than goals. Eden Hazard, €130 million. After Cristiano Ronaldo left the club, Real Madrid was desperately looking for someone to fill his void, and it took them to Stamford Bridge. Signed as the replacement for CR7 for a total cost of €130 million, but the strange thing was that Madrid could have simply waited a year and signed Hazard on a free transfer. Because of this, Hazard had huge expectations to live up to, but the Belgian's life at Madrid became futile when frequent injuries kept hampering his playing time, leading to him netting only once in the 2019-20 season. The former Chelsea player made only 5 starts for Los Blancos the following year. Hazard's limited contributions, coupled with the financial burden of his high transfer fee and salary, strained his relationship with the club and its supporters. Appearing to lose a desire to play, Hazard lost fitness and never really gained his confidence back. A mutual contract termination was the end result for Hazard's time at Madrid, only making 54 appearances and scoring 4 goals. Oscar, £60 million. Oscar was one of the top young players at one point and was emerging to become a potential superstar in world football. He was brilliant at Chelsea, gifted with technical ability and the skills to create goals for himself and his teammates. His performances saw many top European clubs show interest in him, including the likes of Juventus, Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid. But in a shock move, at the age of 25 and in the prime of his career, he left Chelsea and joined Shanghai SIPG in 2017. Oscar did confirm that his move to the Chelsea Super League was driven by financial reasons, as he was reportedly earning £400,000 per week with his lucrative contract. He wanted to set his family up for life, which played a major role in his decision. Financially speaking, his transfer did not ruin his career at all, but in terms of football, it led to a decline in level as the league is less competitive, ultimately affecting his standing in the Brazilian national team. Let us know in the comments, would you have said no to such a lucrative deal? Alexis Sanchez, swap deal. Manchester United fans turn away as the next on the list is Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez was acquired by Manchester United from Arsenal that sent Henrikh Mkhitaryan to the London club. At the time, Alexis was one of the top players in the Premier League, having ended the previous season with 34 goal contributions. It seemed like great business for United, beating their rivals Man City in acquiring the services of the Chilean international. But it came at a hefty cost, in order to convince Alexis to choose Manchester Red over Blue by offering him a weekly wage of £500,000. But with that contract came extra pressure and expectations. Sanchez's performance took a dip with United. He only scored 3 Premier League goals in his 18 months at the club, making a total of 32 appearances. A subsequent loan to Inter Milan, which later turned permanent, marked the end of his time at United. Philippe Coutinho, €160 million. The Brazilian was one of the most recognised players in Europe before he joined Barcelona. His transfer from Liverpool to Barcelona in January 2018 for a staggering fee of €160 million was initially seen as a career-defining move for the Brazilian playmaker, but it didn't turn out that way. At Liverpool, Coutinho was the focal point of the team's attack, thriving under the system and style of play orchestrated by Jurgen Klopp. At Barcelona, Coutinho struggled to find his place in a squad already brimming with talent. He went from the primary focal point of the team to a supporting role. Ultimately, it appeared that Barcelona did not have a preferred position for the Brazilian, and he was loaned out to Bayern Munich. He scored 2 goals against Barcelona in an 8-2 routing in the Champions League semi-final, but that wasn't enough to make the loan permanent at Bayern. Eventually, he returned to Barcelona and picked up an injury that marked the end of his time at the club. He then moved to England, but didn't see much action due to his injury, and has most recently joined the Qatari League. Which one of these transfers was the biggest letdown? What other players would you include in this list? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.